welcome back to the Minetrek.net game server. I just finished work on, I believe it's deck 6 of the Enterprise version 2 here, which is the Ed Whitefire plans. And Blue Phobes has been on, he's been kind of working on, I guess, these doorways, door arches and things, trying to get part of the work, some of the preliminary work done that he can do and work on stuff. Looking pretty good. He's also got some doors down here that he's mocked up. They're looking pretty interesting. I did go ahead and lower the hangar deck by 1 deck. Yeah. Blue needed the extra height in here, so we went ahead and did it. Didn't take too long. I had to completely remove the deck and then reinsert the deck. I had it up there and reinsert it down in here. So I was already prepared to do it, but now we got to go through and place the blocks under here all the way around the phaser strip. And it's going to be tedious. I ain't going to do it. At least not right away. That's something that can be done a long time from now. But yeah, he's worked on these doors. Again, we got to be really careful as far as getting too involved on this. Already working on deck 6, I've made changes to deck 5 and deck 4. So yeah, the decks are all going to be affected all the way through. So we got to keep the construction inside of the ships to a bare minimum. So what he did is he pulled the doors out and is in the process of setting them up. Looking pretty good. I'll show you deck 6 here real quick. Today is March 23rd. Morning of. Yeah. Anyways, deck 5, I still have to modify. As you can see, I haven't modified fully yet deck 5, but I will be modifying deck 5 here. So deck 5 will be, looks just like, basically, I can just do it right now. I can blot that out when we're done. I'm not sure why this is here. I think it's an artifact of something else. I'm going to go ahead and remove it because it's really sort of redundant at this point. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and remove it. I think it's probably something from the old version, or version 1 over there, that we pretty much decided not to use anymore. Copy. Oh, come on. There we go. I'm just going to be lazy. I'm going to nerd pull up here. Paste. Cool. Through here, knock this out. There we go, and let's go ahead and extend this over and that over. Make sure we do these now. This one goes there, and this one goes there. That, 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 that. There we go. All of this here can be removed. I don't know why I have this here. I think it was part of the old setup. We can go ahead and get rid of it here. This is the deck I just imported, and I've been working on pretty heavily over the last few hours. Been trying to get a lot of this done while there's nobody else on the server. Been having anxiety issues, you might say. Every time I get on the server, I'm afraid somebody's going to pull me off to, hey, this doesn't look right, and then I'll have to go back and look at it, and, well, it's fine. You know, it just hasn't been done yet, or it's still a work in progress. So get a little nervous about that stuff, but that's to be expected, you know. Go ahead and get rid of the sand; it's not needed. There we go. Yeah, you know how it is. We all have a hobby, and we all want to, you know, do what we can to make it look good and stuff. But it doesn't sometimes want to lend itself well to what we're doing. What I'll do, because because I'm not going to have two corridors through here, obviously, is I'll go ahead and clean this up, and we'll just manage this one to there. In fact, we'll take this one. Yeah. I'm debating if I should just go ahead and turn, instead of having this as a corridor, turn this into a Jeffries tube. Because you know how it has this little intersection here? And then, I don't know. I really don't need a corridor right here. Because I've got this one down here. And if I turn this into a Jeffries tube, then it'll be an extension of this one going around the ship. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and turn this into a Jeffries tube real quick. See, this is what I mean. This is deck 5. Deck 5 on this build's been done for quite some time. But here I am, making changes to deck 5 on the fly as we do this. Alright, so like so, and then he'll just come across like that. And since this one goes all the way forward, I'll probably put a ladder off of this one down to that one and call it good. So what I'll do here is we'll go ahead and get rid of all of this because it's not needed. And if I want to, I can put a corridor back here, you know, wherever I want to. I don't know if I'll do that yet or not. See, actually, because we got this Jeffries tube here, I won't even need to add a ladder to it. So, whoa. I can see now how it's going to work. Pretty darn slick, if you ask me. Now I have a direct Jeffries tube from the center of the ship to the sides. Well, not direct because it goes through a couple of corridors, but still. Pretty neat, pretty neat, pretty neat. When in doubt, go to the corridor. Alright, so door will have to be, well, I want the door here, so I'm going to go ahead and move this down. This will just be a little bit bigger area for the Jeffries. Back up here, see how bad that looks. Not too bad. Well, I don't know. Come on like that, then I can kind of see how I'm going to do it. So the Jeffries would have to go there, this would have to go there, that would go along there. That was there, and this would be like that. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Yep, alright, hey. Very fun indeed. Yeah, I don't know if you guys watch Boogie 2908 or whatever. He does the Francis character. And if you don't know who Francis is, Google Francis Rage on YouTube and you'll find him. But anyways, he did a while back. I had a problem with Windows 10 just installing without my permission, and it happened. The same exact thing happened to Boogie. So I did a rant, a Francis rant, going off about how Windows 10 is a virus and how it's supposed to protect us from viruses, but it is a virus. It installs itself without your permission. It makes changes to your computer without your permission, and it wants your credit card information. Yeah, he did a beautiful job of ripping the crap out of Windows 10. And Windows 10, through the Windows platform and the Windows App Store, the big thing that's going around right now, people are just now starting to talk about it. I was talking to a friend of a friend today, ironically enough. She's a software engineer out of Silicon Valley, and I won't say who she works for, but let's just say she works for a pretty big company down there. And they're pissed at Microsoft because Microsoft is setting it up to put the paywall back up over games, kind of like what they did with back with the Windows Live and Windows Experience BS they pulled about a decade ago. And by that, what I mean by that is that say Minecraft 2.0, not Minecraft Windows 10, because that's just, it's a program that they wrote to see how well it would work on Windows 10. But Minecraft 2.0 is just as an example. They own Minecraft, Microsoft does, and say they need to profit because they spent $2.5 billion for this game, and that was already before it had, become the #1 best-selling game in history of gaming, I guess. But they need to make their money back. So how are they going to do that? Well, what they'll do is they'll throw it behind a paywall, i.e., and not really a paywall. It's more like a garden wall. So Minecraft will now be, if you set this up, say this is the Minecraft Windows 10 App Store, okay? Well, what they'll do is they'll put Minecraft right there. Now, the only way you'll ever be able to play Minecraft is if you have Windows 10 and a DirectX 12 compliant system. Otherwise, DirectX 10 won't work, DirectX 11 won't work. It has to be DirectX 12. All right? Now, right now, Minecraft is out here, out in the internet. Big, free, open space. So any Tom, Dick, and Harry can come along and create mods for it. They can't. They can't create mods here. The Minecraft wall prevents them from doing it. The only way they can do it is if they pay Microsoft, and then they can develop a mod. And then Microsoft, instead of allowing them to allow that mod to be used for free, makes you and I, the player, have to pay for the mod. So we got to pay for the mod. The modder has to pay for access to mod, and so on and so forth. So basically, they throw modding up behind this paywall. Now, as they improve Minecraft, what they do is they keep it behind this paywall. But for you to get any of this, you have to pay Minecraft. Or excuse me, pay Microsoft to get the what we used to call patches and updates. And now they call that download content, DLC. And you have to pay to get the DLC. And all the DLC might be is a patch to fix some other version, like a new version of the game. Like instead of going from 2.0, it goes to 2.1. Well, guess what? Ka-ching! 2.3. Ka-ching! 2.4. Ka-ching! So they don't have an incentive to immediately release the game complete because thanks to Steam and early access and all that happy horse shit and download content, they can release just the small part of the game, and then 6 months from now they release the second part of the game, ka-ching, third part, ka-ching, and they just keep doing that. And that's where the gaming industry is going, and that's what Microsoft wants to do. Is it wants to make sure that everybody pays them for the programs or games that they have, but they don't want just their games. They want developers to develop games strictly for them. Well, just develop it so that it can go behind this paywall. And the way they do that is they leverage their Windows 10 platform, the Windows Universal Platform, against game developers. And now the game developers, if they want people to be able to play games on a Windows 10 computer, because you're not going to be able to play games on a Windows 10 computer unless Windows says, oh, this game is compliant, now you can come through the paywall, download it, and play it. Otherwise, oh, this game isn't compliant with the Windows app because they haven't paid us. No. Sorry, DirectX 12 will not allow you to play. And that's where these developers are just absolutely pissed, livid pissed at Microsoft, because that's where they're going. Basically, it's like Apple. Why do people hate Apple? Well, because Apple is proprietary. Everything is proprietary. Well, Windows wants everything to be Windows, Microsoft proprietary. Throw up that paywall. Yep, that's the future of gaming, ladies and gentlemen. You gotta pay to play. And the horrible thing about it is, if they want to, they can make it a monthly subscription, a season pass. You know, you not only season pass, but you have a season pass, and then you have to pay for mods on top of that. Kind of like what Steam pulled with the Steam, you got to pay for mods, you know. And that was a fiasco joke, because what was that? It was, okay, well, Steam gets to keep 75% of the revenue for the mod sale, and then 25% of the revenue goes back to the developer, and then the developer gets to decide how much of that 25% is going to go to the modders. Want to bet nothing goes to the modders? Yeah, there you go. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at with Windows 10, and why Windows 10, why they're pushing it to be free, is because the more people that have Windows 10, the greater their leverage to push game developers towards using DirectX 12 or 13 or Microsoft proprietary software that says, yes, your game can run on a Windows 10 machine, but only on a Windows 10 machine, because if you try to install it on a Windows 7 machine, especially now that we've launched Windows 10, we've updated Windows 7 and Windows 8 so that Windows 7 and Windows 8 will no longer allow you to play games on it. Because guess what? We own the operating system, and we can retro modify it to make it non-compatible with games that it was once compatible with. And that's another big fear, although that's not so much an issue, but it has been discussed as being an issue because somebody at Microsoft said that's what they're going to do. So yeah, just keep an eye out on Microsoft. Scary, scary stuff coming down the road. Again, you know, the more they talk about it, the more people become aware of it. Hopefully, it'll keep Microsoft from, you know, implementing it on the sly, which is kind of what they're trying to do. It's kind of slide it in through the back door after midnight when everybody's asleep and the lights are off. So, yeah, make your stuff. Anyways, looks like Blue's put the door in here. When we lowered this deck, I remember I gave myself some wiggle room. We also lowered this section here, and this right here is actually part of this section. And if you put a block on top of that, go all the way around, it would be like that. See, yeah. But I figured it was kind of neat to keep it there. You got that little separation line from the hanger section into the hanger. It's kind of cool. As I was saying with deck 6 here, the Arboretum is in. This is a non-used area because I can't really use it for anything, and I lowered this section so that if we need to get extra height and space through here, this section can even be lowered again if, like, say you want to put like a little garden or something in here. They'll have room for like a pond or something, but there's not a lot of room under here. So I just wanted to lower it to show that, yeah, we have room to gain the extra height, and we could turn this into dirt. And then I might actually just go ahead and lower this just to show that it's here. But this area over here, these hatches, they're not escape pods. They're connections, or we're going to call them umbilicals. I have no other word for it. They're listed as machine and equipment access hatches. So yeah, and this whole section on the Whitefire plants is just an empty room, and I'm pretty much sure the same thing on the Steinbach plants too. So yeah, I got to figure out what we're going to do with all that. And with deck 7, because the bridge module or the secondary hull Cobra head intersects is level with deck 7, if I do a turbo lift here, it'll have to be part of the hull. So if, say, the ship were to separate and you looked at the bottom of the hull, you would see a turbo lift stripe going through here. Normally you wouldn't, because, you know, in ideal space, a 1 meter thick block would actually only be a few inches thick, and it would basically the size of a carpet. If I could put a carpet, you know, between this hull and stuff, you would see that it's obviously, you know, part of this hull up here, and then the carpet, there'd be like a little air separator, and then the top of this hull. But because it's Minecraft and everything's 1 meter thick blocks, we don't have that luxury. So yeah, just things like this. I can do this because
you know, nobody will ever see it, and if they do see it, it can be explained away as, you know, that's the way it would be in real life. Or I could put everything one block higher, and then as it got to the end of the hull, or into this hole right here, not hall, but hole, it would basically step down by one, and I really don't like doing that. I honestly don't, because yeah, it goes up one, and it goes so far, and it goes up 6, and I don't know, it's just, I like to keep it flat, and then straight up, not, you know, stair-step a turbo lift. I don't like doing that. Another option is with the turbo lift and the Jeffries tube, because the turbo lift, emergency turbo lift, will come down, and it'll zag over here on this plans. On the Steinbach plans, it'll have to go straight. Now, I might alter these as well. I don't know yet. But not only do I have to do a main turbo shaft going down through here on this side, I have the emergency turbo lift, and then I have this, our little Jeffries tube and stuff. Now, as far as umbilical connections to the secondary hull, what I'm thinking about doing is coming down here and making that connection somewhere down in here. So there's nothing that says it has to be done at the top of the Cobra head. So I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to probably do the umbilical connection from the main saucer to the secondary hull through the Jeffries tube, where the central trunk line that goes from the top to the bottom, where all those conduits, they'll come back, they'll have a connector here at the hull, and they'll pass through this hull, pass through the secondary hull, into this Cobra head area. Each one of these colors is actually a different deck layer. I did that so that I could tell where they were at and stuff like that. Same thing with up here. Looking pretty good, looking pretty good. And let's take a whirl. Actually, well, it's not the same above us, but I'm sure you can see with the map here. Let me see if I can get it to zoom out for us. There we go. This is the deck right here, as it currently is. I believe, yeah. Here we go. That's the deck we want. There's still some work to be done, obviously, but for the most part, it's looking pretty decent. I like the pattern, and the nice thing is, I just pointed my finger at my monitor to show you, but those two little garden things on the side there, those two little circles, I'm going to turn this off real quick, and if I can remember, there we go. I'll show you here real quick. Yeah, I did that one. I keep finding little things that I didn't do that I needed to do, and whoops, like open up a hallway or make sure I can access a lift. But these things right here, these are like little gardens that look up. These are now perfectly in line with each other, which is what we really wanted and what we couldn't pull off on the other hull, because the hull was shifted too far to one direction, and the back of the old hull was all sort of off center. So we've been trying to avoid that issue with this hull, and hopefully, we will have pulled it off when everything's said and done. Looking pretty good, though. I gotta say, overall, it's cleaning up very nicely. It's transitioning from version 1 to version 2 pretty simply. There's still some issues, but I'm working those out as I go, and I'm pretty stoked about it. I mean, we're getting there, and I'm finding little things every now and then that I have to go and do, and by lowering this deck here, deck 4, we gain that extra height, so now we know the runabout modules will fit in here no problem, and they'll be able to horseshoe them out into the area here, and then load them into the runabouts, which are parked here, and then the runabouts easily fit down in here. And you know, all this down through here, they've got these big parking bays for runabouts and stuff like that. So on the many regards, the Steinbach hangar, in my opinion, I love this whole area here being set aside on the Steinbach. Excuse me, the Whitefire. I'm going to keep getting that stuff mixed up. The Whitefire plans here really do a nice job of giving us a lot of extra space for hangar parking, whereas the Steinbach plans, not necessarily. So we have to modify the Steinbach plans to get a lot of extra storage area that we don't, for hangar parking and stuff that we don't normally have. Now, here's the revision for the inner circle and the first set of transporters down here, and I think I've got transporters elsewhere as well, many places elsewhere where they're going to be planned. Now, this is right now currently set to 4 wide, and I'm not going to change that. Reason being is it allows me to keep these pretty uniform to each other, and you know, if push comes to shove, we can do something like Blue had originally tried to do, and I think this is probably, I'm not sure, but I think we talked about it, but something like this, you know, every so often have a stairwell. So instead of being, because these sideway corridors, they're a little bit narrower than the full-length oval corridors, so that's just something that could easily be done through here. I don't know if it can be done on these long, well, obviously not, this is only 3 wide, but the center one here is 4 wide. I don't think you can do that as well. I think that one will have to be just a double wide, because that's, you know, that's a main corridor here, and this is a thoroughfare corridor, and then it branches off. And I also made these 4 wide too, because they look, well, we needed the extra width in order to pull these off. So yeah, it's pretty weird. I'm actually getting familiar with the Whitefire plans. It's something I never figured I would do. Actually ended up going over to the old D to look at something and went right to it, because I knew where it was. I'll figure that one out. And my faulty memory seems to remember certain things, but not the basic things. I can tell you what something is, but I can't tell you what I had for breakfast. You know, yeah, pretty sad, huh? But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this is coming out. This will be another. This is not just a bay, but it's also storage. And over here is going to be organic storage, and there'll be a lift. Actually, I don't think there will be now, because there's a corridor above us. So this will probably get patched. This will be the lift, and it'll actually feed both this room here, which is organic storage, and then this area here, which will also be like H2O gas storage, and the electrolytic sipivators for the starboard side, and there'll be another one on the port side, and the inorganic hubs and all that inorganic equipment on this side, and the organic heads and components on the other side. And then life support and other things will be fitted around in the areas as well. And lots of crew quarters. Now, I'm not putting in the crew quarters on here on this build like I am with the Steinbach, because to be honest with you, I'm really not sure what we're going to do. We may end up adding additional walls through here, and again, I don't want to put, dividers, so that these crew quarters are a little bit different. I'll show you in the next video what I've done with the Steinbach crew quarters, because those are a departure from what I normally do. But here, you know, if we did this, would be basically kind of what I did with the Enterprise E. They'd be modular rooms. They're all the same size, but slightly adjusted because of the curvature of the corridors. So, and I just wanted some more time to think about how we're going to implement it on the Whitefire over here, because these whole sections could be modular. You know, you can just pull them out, mock them up, set them back in, and later on, if we don't like them, pull them out, change them, put them back in, and you know, I don't know yet. Here's the Space Garden, one of many. Space Gardens. Not even sure, to be honest with you, what this area through here is. Again, not sure at all through here. This is all new stuff, by the way. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I can tell you that it's coming along. Pretty happy with it so far, and as I said, I'm transitioning from deck 5 to 6. You can see where I lowered decks 4. I just converted the hull, that flat piece right there, to gray wool, and it basically became part of this, and then it melted in just perfectly, so that if it did overshoot the hull, I would see it and convert that back to stone. But it didn't. It all fit in like a glove. But yeah, I'm pretty happy. Getting her done. Anyways, I haven't worked on this, deck 7. I do appreciate you watching. Again, this is the Minetrek.net game server. If you'd hit that like button for me, I'd greatly appreciate it. If you'd visit our GoFundMe page and donate to help keep the server up and running, it'd be greatly appreciated. Also, please like us on Facebook. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.